You can take the guest room. The table was full, plates half-eaten, glasses sweating. My aunt mid-story about something no one was really listening to. That's when my father cleared his throat. We've been meaning to talk about the room situation. I already knew what was coming, but I let him speak. You're not a kid anymore, he continued. It's time to be practical. My mother nodded beside him, calm, prepared. Your sister needs the bigger room now, she said. It makes more sense. Makes more sense. I looked around the table. My sister avoided eye contact, but didn't object. We've decided, my father added, you can take the guest room. A pause. Or move out. Your choice. There it was. Not shouted. Announced. Like a policy update. A few relatives shifted in their chairs. No one defended me. No one asked what I wanted. The guest room. The smallest space in the house. Temporary by design. Meant for visitors. I had lived there once before, after college, just for a few months. Those months turned into a year, then into jokes about how I was still figuring things out. Now, they were making it official. I wasn't family with a room. I was optional space. I contribute. I said quietly, you contribute, my father replied. But this house isn't about fairness. It's about priorities. Priorities. My sister's promotion had just happened. New job, bigger title, more impressive story. She needed space to grow. Apparently, I needed to shrink. You don't have to make this dramatic, my mother said softly. We're giving you options. Options. Funny how the two choices both involved losing ground. Take the smaller room, or leave entirely. I felt the heat rise in my chest. Not anger. Clarity. When someone reduces your place in their life, they're already preparing for your absence. I put my fork down carefully. I'll think about it, I said. They expected resistance. An argument. Maybe even a scene. Instead, I finished my dinner calmly. They thought they were adjusting furniture. They didn't realize they were rearranging the entire future. That night, I stood in my room, the one that was no longer fully mine, and looked around. I didn't feel displaced. I felt released. They thought they were downsizing my space. They had no idea I was about to outgrow the entire house, the room I didn't take. I didn't wait long. 3 days after that dinner, I packed. Not in anger, not loudly, just methodically. Clothes, documents, laptop, a few books, things that were mine before that house ever was. No one stopped me. My mother knocked once. You're overreacting, she said gently. The guest room wasn't an insult. I know, I replied. And I meant it. It wasn't an insult. It was clarity. I left before sunrise, the same way people leave hotels when they don't plan on returning. The first apartment I rented was small. One window, thin walls. The kind of place where you can hear your neighbors arguing about rent. But it was mine. No one could relocate me inside it. No one could downgrade my space. The first few months weren't impressive. I worked longer hours, took projects others avoided, saved aggressively. There were nights I sat on the floor because I hadn't bought a couch yet. But discomfort with ownership feels different than comfort with conditions. At my parents' house, I had space without control. Now I had control without space. And that trade was worth it. I stopped thinking about rooms. I started thinking about leverage. I studied late, certifications, contracts, markets. I paid attention to things most people ignore until they're desperate. Money stopped being emotional. It became strategic. Meanwhile, I heard updates indirectly. My sister renovated her new, bigger room, posted photos. My parents hosted relatives proudly. The house felt balanced again. Balanced until expenses increased, until job pressure mounted, until my father's income dipped slightly, and no one mentioned it publicly. I wasn't there to see the cracks form, but I heard about them. And for the first time, I wasn't inside the pressure system. I was outside it. Years passed quietly. My apartment upgraded, then upgraded again. I didn't rush to buy flashy things. I invested instead, built reserves, built relationships, built reputation. I became someone who was invited into rooms, not assigned them. That shift changed everything. The most important change wasn't financial. It was internal. I stopped measuring my worth by square footage, stopped associating space with love, stopped believing that staying small made others comfortable. Distance taught me something simple. If someone reduces your place, increase your value elsewhere. And value compounds when it's left alone. One evening, years later, I received a message from my mother. "We're having dinner this Sunday. You should come." No mention of rooms. No mention of options. Just an invitation. I arrived calmly. The house looked the same, but it felt smaller. Not physically, emotionally. My sister greeted me politely. My father asked about work with more interest than before. The guest room door was slightly open as I walked past it. It looked temporary. Still, during dinner, my father cleared his throat again. A familiar sound. "We've been thinking," he began carefully. "About what?" This time, his tone wasn't authoritative. It was cautious. "We're considering selling the house," he said. "Downsizing." Downsizing. The word almost made me smile. Life has a quiet sense of irony. The house that once reduced my space was now too large to maintain. Maintenance costs, market shifts, changing priorities. Space is only valuable if you can sustain it. I didn't react. I didn't reference the past. I simply listened. And for the first time, they weren't presenting options to me. They were explaining theirs. That's when I understood the real shift had already happened. Years ago, they offered me two choices: take less space or leave. I chose to leave. They thought I was shrinking. They didn't realize I was expanding beyond their walls. I didn't take the guest room. I took the exit. And in doing so, I stopped being a temporary presence in someone else's house. I became permanent in my own life that I stood there, suitcase in hand, heart pounding so loudly I could barely hear my own thoughts. The guest room door was open behind me, temporary, conditional, never really mine. Their words echoed in my head: take the guest room, or move out. For the first time, I realized it wasn't really about space. It was about belonging, and I didn't belong there anymore. So I zipped up my bag, walked past the dining table, and said calmly, "I'll move out." They thought I'd come back. They thought I'd apologize. I didn't. The first months were hard. Cheap furniture, long shifts, instant noodles for dinner. But every key I turned in my own apartment door felt like freedom. No conditions, no threats, no shrinking myself to fit. Years later, when they asked why I never came back, I simply smiled.